Southern California, 2006. Shoppers at the Del Amo Shopping Center arrived to take advantage of their Black Friday sales event, which involves releasing 500 balloons loaded with sales coupons. As the balloons release, 2,000 people surge toward the floating savings opportunities, which quickly turns into an all-out stampede. 10 people were injured, with one woman needing to go to the hospital. Since then, there have been 125 shopping mall-related injuries and 17 deaths in the United States alone. At least zombies can group together in an orderly fashion. We watched Dawn of the Dead and Chopping Mall.
The French champagne.
Champagne!
The schlocky movie from this week may be the schlockiest film we've ever seen on this podcast.
I'm Mr. Pink.
Sis Blue.
So Miranda hasn't seen Reservoir Dogs.
Those men's children are all identical clones of Adolf Hitler.
Once they were men, now they are land crabs.
Amanda Bynes is a national treasure.
There's like a bunch of other shit that happens in Driven.
Is there?
Secret Nazis.
Yeah.
Secret Nazis.
Big Daddy lost his eagle.
I hope
So-
no one from my family listens to this podcast.
The Citizen Kane of the week is...
Boo! Spooky! Wookie hello hoo-hoo!
You got us.
Boo!
No, commit.
Is that how we're starting?
Commit.
Yeah, commit.
Gotta commit. Don't half-ass this shit, man. People are turning off.
Greeting, boils and ghouls. Is that? It's probably.
Yep.
That's Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah.
That's,
Is it?
that's a direct ripoff. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Greeting, everyone.
Better.
I'm just a spooky skeleton
Okay.
from a bakery. That's different.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Okay.
I died baking,
Mm-hmm.
and now I want to tell you tales
Of kitchen safety? What are we
from
talking
the
about?
Crypt Keeper. Hi, welcome back to Citizen Kane Versus. This is a podcast where if you are new to the pod, we take one movie that is considered to be more of a classic, and we compare it against a movie that is considered to be more on the schlocky side, and we ask ourselves honestly, which is better? I am Jack Rennie, and I'm joined by my two friends, a one,
Sean Jacqueline.
and the other,
Spoopy.
the other one is
Woo.
Daniel Benoit.
Oh,
Damn.
so scary.
That's so scary.
Scary.
Are you, are you in a bakery?
Whoa.
And we got our second of two October offerings.
Spooptober.
But as spooky as we get, actually, we were talking about getting scarier, and we really didn't. And I really love us for that. We were like, we should really do
Yeah, we went the
a
polar
scary
opposite
movie.
direction.
And neither of the Wicker Man films are scary movies.
No.
They're like cult, literally about cults, like cult thrillers. And then Dawn of the Dead was like the scariest movie,
Of the two, for sure.
but like really not very much.
No.
No.
Like Shaun of the Dead is a scarier movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there are scary psychological elements to Dawn of the Dead, but
It's scary what it makes you think about society, man.
Yep.
You know?
Damn.
Yeah. Who's the real monster, you know?
Oh, the monsters, like the zombies.
Definitely the zombies.
Yeah, definitely the undead.
Aren't? Okay, well,
Yeah.
I don't know.
What?
Huh?
Who are the monsters to you in that movie?
Aren't we all?
No, the
The
zombies
Robo
are.
Mall Cop.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
and
Robomall cops, definitely.
I mean, that movie's trickier with.
Yeah. Who's the monster? Well,
I don't even
You're
know
like
if I
kind of in
classify-
favor of the robots.
Yeah, that's true.
You're like, get
yeah.
them.
Get those teens.
Get all of them.
Get those 32-year-old teens.
They're just, they're just get those Chads and Beckys. They're destroying private property.
Yeah, that's right.
Destroy them by destroying private property.
Their virginity. They've destroyed their virginity, and therefore they must die.
really is
God,
back
is-
to that like godless thing, eh?
Is
Yeah.
that the central theme?
The two virgins live, man.
Oh yeah. Are we sure the dude was a virgin? Is that the idea?
he's
I guess
a
it's
nerd.
implied, right? Yeah. Nerds
Yeah.
don't fuck.
It's the 80s and nerds don't fuck.
Nerds don't
Yeah.
fuck. Nerds fuck now.
Nerds fuck now.
Nerds fuck
Oh.
now.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, they fuck more than
Than the
anyone
regular
now.
people, yeah.
Well, I mean, when they passed the Nerd Fucking Act of 1993, that really opened the door for a lot of nerds to.
That was a really pivotal time.
It was, yeah.
Which, to be clear, like this one doesn't come out later. I did vote against that, but
Yeah,
that
that's
was
right.
in a
In
previous.
1993.
Yeah, but
Oh.
that was in a different time in my life.
That's right. They opened it up to infants. That one.
Yeah,
That
5-year-old
one
5-year-old
referendum.
Jack
They
was
opened it up to
really
infants.
anti-nerd.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Should nerds fuck?
1992 they passed an act that the voting age
Yeah, dropped it just
would be
just
down
for a
to,
year. They
Yeah,
dropped
for a
it down.
year.
Jack
Yeah,
was
it
like,
a
"Not in
tricky
my
time
Canada."
in Canadian history.
Yeah.
But I am for it now, so
Good.
I'm just acknowledging that. Like,
Great.
I am in favor.
And you did put that nerd fucking banner across the Instagram page for a
did.
bit. Yeah. That was nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So the movies we picked
Mm-hmm.
are. I like the link this week though, which
It
is
is-
that
it is
they
good.
are technically both spoopy movies. They are Halloween movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not that again. Not
They're
to-
horror movies.
Not to say that
guess.
they're scary, but
They're
they
horror
are
movies.
supposed
I
to
don't
be.
know, man. I was the genre of chopping mall is a little.
It's a horror
It's a
movie.
little blended. I'd say it's like horror sci-fi,
Yeah.
heavier on the sci-fi.
Yeah, but that's a
It's still
genre
horror.
of
It's
horror.
there's body horror in it,
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a lot of bodies.
Yeah, well, that too.
Yeah.
it's definitely supposed to be.
Yeah, for sure. It's a slasher.
Not
Not kind of.
Yeah.
It's not much of the chop, but
Yeah, which
We'll get to that.
I'll
We'll
get.
get to
Well,
it.
I'll get to that. I got a great or two about that, but they're specifically mall themed, mall oriented. What's the word?
Oriented.
Oriental, I think is the word.
Yeah, that is the word. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Anyway, but they are both situated in malls, and that was the link that we went with, which I think is beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
What can you do in a mall? You have a budget, you have some actors, you have a mall. Mm-hmm. What can you do? And we have two examples of that.
I also like that we are holding firm to our commitment to promote consumerism on this podcast.
Yeah, buy
Promoting?
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, buy.
Yeah. Capitalism at its finest. Shopping malls?
Yeah.
It's where people go to spend money and buy stuff,
is.
acquire wealth.
Yeah, especially during this time of severe inflation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't let that deter you. It's actually your responsibility
Get
to
to the mall.
Spend.
to buy more.
Yeah.
Actually, if you want to fix it, the issue is that people aren't buying enough. That's
Yeah.
the only reason.
That's really how our economy is going to recover from this, is if you just spend all of your money and go into debt.
If you could all just
Well-
wander aimlessly through shopping malls in your bit
Yeah.
of spare time.
Buy
Yeah,
a bunch
with
of
the-
stuff you don't need.
with like that tap kind of ability,
Mm-hmm.
just
Tap.
remove like the limit on that, and then just like cover your eyes and just swing
Yeah.
it around in the mall. Just swing that card around.
You'll be shocked what you buy.
Yeah, but you'll be grateful. I've heard also debt is good.
Debt is supposed to be really good, especially if you're trying to like build a future and some financial stability. I've heard debt is really helpful for that.
Yeah, people do say that, which I think is very funny.
Do people really say that?
Yeah, well,
That's
but they
fucked.
mean it for like a country. Like debt for a country is like not a bad thing. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But some people try to use that to say that debt generally is okay, but like debt for an individual is like crippling.
Yeah, not great.
I guess depending on the source of debt. If you have debt for like a mortgage, I think that's
Yeah, if it's for
like-
your home,
Yeah. But if
like
you have, or like on a car,
that's
I
debt
guess.
that you've incurred in an attempt for self-preservation, that kind of thing. But like
Yeah.
student loan debt.
Student loan debt is fucking wild.
Yeah, which is why more and more kids are turning to group sex parties in Bed Bath and Beyonds. in
It
malls
all
after
started in
hours.
the '80s with the recession in the '80s.
That
yeah.
was part of the fear. That
Yeah.
was what this movie was really tackling. So I don't know. Did people have a good time with these movies this week? Generally speaking, I like to kind of also touch in on like what the overall experience of watching these movies was.
It wasn't as fun as last week.
No, it wasn't.
No.
I would say generally like no, then yes, then eh. That was my journey of
Okay.
excitement, especially with. Well, no, I will say that I had a better time with Dawn of the Dead. I definitely started a little rocky, and by a little rocky I mean very rocky. But I was fully won over and invested by the end of that movie.
Oh,
This
wow.
one was kind of more of like a steady like a steady cruise.
This
through
one being Chopping Mall.
Chopping Mall. This one being the one we just watched
Yeah.
together, Chopping Mall. It was more of like a steady lull
Mm-hmm.
through a shopping experience.
Yeah.
I do feel that if I watched it alone, I would not have had much of a good time, but we
No.
watched it together, which helped it, which I'm okay with. I feel like that's how this movie is supposed to be watched.
Yes.
Dawn of the Dead, it's not a bad movie,
No,
but it's also
it's a great movie.
It's also a very bad movie.
but it's also not a good movie. Is how I feel about it.
It has. I think it's a really good, and we'll talk about this more. But I think that Dawn of the Dead is a really fascinating exercise in storytelling. In spite of what was clearly a very low budget and not much of like an aesthetic vision.
Yep. It is a brilliant essay. It is a really, really good essay.
Mm-hmm.
Dawn of the Dead.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll be asking follow-up questions about
Yeah,
that.
of course.
The word's brilliant, and essay in particular.
Essay means man in Spanish.
I think it actually doesn't it mean friend? I think it means friend.
I have no idea.
I'm saying it's a really
To
good
any
friend.
Spanish person
Yeah.
I just offended, I'm terribly sorry. I really don't know.
Cerveza actually means water.
Yeah.
Yep, sure does.
Nailed it.
Well, while we're discussing our journeys to these movies, why don't we get some synopses, get some intros? Why don't we
Let's
get
do
some
it.
Intros.
Here they come.
Bing ding.
In the red corner, representing the classics. After a zombie infection breaks out across America, a ragtag group of civilians set up house in their local shopping mall. In Zack Snyder's homage, George Romero's follow-up to his groundbreaking masterpiece, buckle up for action. Gritty commentary on consumerism and how to raise your zombie baby. Coming in at 127 minutes, starring Tom Savini and Galen Ross, or maybe Sarah Polley and Ving Rhames, Dawn of the Dead. And in the blue corner, representing the schlock, a group of teens gets trapped overnight in a shopping mall after getting carried away with their orgiastic party at the bed store, only to find to their horror that the mall's new security bots have turned murderous. Will they all survive the night, or will they each be zapped, blasted, burnt, but notably not chopped, to death? Coming in at 95 minutes, starring Kelly Maroney and Russell Todd, Chopping Mall.
Whew! Wow.
Tired?
Woo. That. Oh. Sometimes you just gotta go for it.
I mean, whatever gets the
You
crowd
did.
going, man.
Yeah.
Ooh. One could say it was a brilliant essay.
One might say you're a brilliant essay.
One could.
Get it?
Yeah.
Because you're a man and you're smart.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hmm.
In,
And
in Daniel's new Spanish.
Daniel's new Spanish.
Call it Danish.
Danish.
God.
Danish. Wait.
Yes, that's just
Danish.
Someone for years being like, do you speak Danish or Danish? I'm pretty Danish, yeah. So, let's jump on in, shall we?
Splash.
I think it's time. I think it's time to take the leap and jump into our first round. First round, which is story. Good? Bing
Ding
ding.
ding. There it is. You can add it in post.
My volume was down. I'll have to.
Yeah.
God damn it.
I like our acoustic bell.
Bing
I guess they're
ding.
always acoustic, but I like our.
Yeah.
They are always acoustic.
But that one isn't.
That one's
It's
not,
on a
no.
phone or it's
Yeah.
on a computer. They're never acoustic. It doesn't matter.
Story.
How do you define
a bell is an
acoustic?
acoustic instrument.
Yeah, but anyway,
But is it acoustic if it's a digital represent or recreation of a bell?
no.
No. Then it's synthesized.
Is symphonic music when listened through your stereo not Acoustic? Is
No.
it digital then?
Guys, I have a real problem here.
Gramophones are tricky because they. Anyway.
Oh, that's definitely acoustic.
yeah.
Story,
Yeah.
gramophones,
wild, yeah.
xylophones.
Story.
Those are acoustic.
So
Guys, I have to use the bathroom really badly. What do we do? No, don't pause it. I'll hold it. Just wanted to let you
just
know.
hold. Yeah.
If you wonder why
You
my face is
channel.
clenching.
Use it, then we killed a minute already.
Okay.
So the story of Dawn of the Dead is very simple, which is to its benefit, and then it wants to do like you can see that like The Walking Dead, for example, seems very much inspired by this kind of
Totally.
storytelling,
And
where
like
it's
Tarantino in the 90s.
yeah, seemed inspired by that.
Yeah.
But it's like, let's take archetypes and put them in the space together and let them. We have the criminal who's turned a new leaf, and we have the brooding, the police officer who's lost hope, and and it's all this kind of stuff. So it's like there, but then the movie doesn't do, for me, stuff with it.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it's, to me, the archetypes aren't as important in Dawn of the Dead as just like the functionality of their existence says more. The fact that like in the first act, you just have a group of cops shooting their way through a building of mostly black and like Hispanic people and just killing them at random. But it's, they're hiding zombies, so they have permission to break into this building and just murder these people because there might be zombies in the basement. It's all an allegory for Nixon's America.
Sorry.
It is.
The entire movie is?
The entire movie.
Wait, Jack, what are you looking up, Jack?
Did I watch the same movie as you? What?
Dawn of the Dead. What?
Oh, wait, did you watch the new one?
Probably.
The one with
Ruh-roh.
like Omar Epps?
Omar Epps.
Yeah.
1978. Dawn of the Dead. George Romero.
Totally not what I watched.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, what did you watch?
You watched the new one by fucking Zack Snyder.
I totally did.
Oh, shit.
No.
How's that one?
It's like better.
it's-
That has a fucking zombie baby in it.
It does have a zombie baby in it.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah, this is going to be
well, this will be fun.
a very interesting
This will be
conversation.
very funny.
So story is going to be Sean and I telling Jack about Dawn of the Dead. What the fuck? Oh, no, dude. That's so funny.
Yeah, nailed it.
Right on.
Oh,
It's good. Here's the thing. I love it when things have the same title
Well, what?
throughout time.
Remakes, yeah.
Oh, that explains why Jack was like, I don't know about brilliant or
Yeah.
yeah. That didn't make any sense to you because that new one is not brilliant.
Archetype. I was you're listening to those archetypes, and I was like, yeah, I guess
I
they sort of fit into those.
I was like, who's the criminal who reformed?
That's fun. So what happens? First, you tell us in a synopsis what happens in the new one. Real quick.
In the new one, some people get stuck in a mall.
Okay.
And then the movie spins its wheels and are dumb, and they decide. And there's a guy. The best part is that there's a guy. The cop who's lost hope has a relationship with a guy across the street who they just communicate with messages on signs and binoculars. And that's really sweet. It's actually the best part of the movie.
Cool.
And there's like a bunch of zombies between them in like the parking lot or whatever. But the dude's like a shooter on the other side. He's in a gun store. And there's a part where they like get to a gun store, like they go across and that guy has died. And they're like, we gotta keep going. Like they're trying to get somewhere else. They're like, we don't want to die here.
Right.
But it's like, you have a safe spot that has like food in it. And also you just got access to the gun store that's like well barricaded. Have you thought about just like making a few holes in the windows and shooting zombies? Anyway, so just like,
Oops.
Yeah.
Well, ours is the direct sequel to Night of the Living Dead, which we watched.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And it's George A. Romero directing and writing and doing all this stuff. And it's a group of people who are fleeing from Atlanta. Where?
I don't know where it was in Atlanta. I mean, they're just fleeing like a populated
city.
area to get away because they can see society kind of deteriorating around
really
them.
quickly. And actually, it starts with like newscasters fighting on air about should we be murdering our decapitating our loved ones after they've died, because they play up the like one part of society doesn't think that's right, and it's the religious people, and like the rest are like, no, we just need to decapitate our loved ones. That's what we need to do, and it plays that throughout the whole movie. They get lost in a mall. They get locked in a mall.
They kind of lock themselves in a mall. But I don't know. I find like it's much less of a zombie movie. Really, it's more of like
it's an allegory. It's just an allegory.
I don't know how it's an allegory for Nixon's America because I'm very historically illiterate. But
it's mostly, whereas the first one was an allegory for like racism of the South.
Sure.
This one is an allegory for how minorities were treated in the war on drugs and consumerism, and how we blind ourselves by buying ourselves really expensive things, and we can ignore the zombie apocalypse that's happening.
Because a major component in this one is the fact that zombies, even after they die, just mindlessly flock to the mall just from like sense memory.
Right.
And they just know it's a place they want to be.
In the remake. Where they say, why are they coming here? And they say like, I don't know, some memory inside them.
Yeah.
Right.
I do remember the Zack Snyder one being much more of a zombie flick, though. It tries to play up the tension more of like the impending danger of the zombies. Whereas in the one that we watched, it's a smaller portion of the movie. It's actually just watching how they like plan their survival tactics and kind of like set up shop and form a new like habitat within the mall.
And it lasts like, there's a time jump, and they've been in the mall for like a couple months.
Yeah.
One of them is pregnant, and
But she doesn't die in this one, so she doesn't have the zombie baby.
Well,
Right.
in the original of ours, the final two characters, in what we watched, they escape in the helicopter together.
Right.
And they just know that they're flying with a limited tank of gas, but they'll fly away.
Yeah.
But in what they really wanted, our male protagonist shoots himself. So when he has the gun to his head, he was supposed to kill himself as the zombies were coming out. And then she realizes that like no matter where she goes, there's going to be zombies. So she puts her head through the propeller blades of her helicopter, is how it was supposed to end.
And instead they were like, no, that's
we need
too
a
dark.
hopeful thing. Chopping Mall? What's Chopping Mall about?
Chopping Mall is literally if RoboCop was mall security.
Yeah.
And
bad.
Well, didn't the design actually looks like, isn't there like a bad robot in RoboCop? Has
it's been
treads?
too long. Oh yeah.
Is there?
I've never seen RoboCop. I just
haven't
know
either.
that the heads of these robots looked a lot like RoboCop.
They did.
Yeah, decent amount. Yeah.
Chopping Mall is a slasher movie where 3 security robots are the villains, and they kill a bunch of teens.
But they're actually the heroes because the teens suck.
The
teens
teens do
suck.
suck. The one nerd is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I liked him.
Yeah.
He's nice. I was rooting for him.
But they didn't chop anybody.
There's no chopping.
Yeah,
in Chopping Mall.
there's
It's a
zero
real
chopping.
issue.
Yeah.
It's like really fucked. They just shoot like pew-pews.
It should be called like Laser Mall. It also didn't make any sense that the
Zapping
lasers were all set to stun. I wasn't really sure. Like
Some of them were, but some of them were set to explode, and there was no differentiation between the two.
yeah,
Correct.
like they shoot things out of their like cables that do damage, kind of.
They can like electroshock you.
I guess, but these people were absorbing like 7 or 8 laser blasts, and
Yeah.
they were fine, except for the one girl who got shot once in the leg and her calf exploded.
Yeah, and the girl who got shot in the head and her head exploded.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
That was the big one.
That
But
was.
they were
cool.
also like blowing up walls with single blasts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was even the moment where they went for a girl with hurt calf falls down,
Yeah.
and they went for shoot the gasoline can she has, and she burns.
Yeah.
But it was all lined up like it was gonna run her
No,
over.
that was a different girl, wasn't it?
It was.
No.
Yeah. The gasoline girl was the blonde.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
No.
Same-
The girl got shot.
Susan-
Oh no, you're
Susan
right.
got
You're right.
gasoline.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of the brunette that got shot in the vagina.
Didn't you get shot in the chest?
Definitely the vagina,
Okay.
and maybe the chest. I don't know.
Dan sees what he
Dan sees what Dan wants to
and
see.
needs to see.
In my mind, this was definitely a pornographic film.
Well,
It's not just in my mind. A lot of boobs.
there was
They
like
were
an orgy in
they
it.
were almost a character
The boobs?
in the movie.
Yeah.
It's true.
The boobs.
Yeah.
They did use tactics to accomplish tasks.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised there wasn't a moment where the robot was like, "Identification, please," and then the girl turned and was like, "What?" and her boobs flashed, and it was like, "Carry on."
Yeah.
Like, I'm surprised they didn't go that far, which I would have
Nice.
respected. More. Nice.
Now that's a movie.
That is a movie.
Like, I'm surprised this movie didn't have the other tropes of like hot girl is sleeping and the robot is like creeping and like the hands are like, you know, moving the blanket and she's doing that like,
Oh, right.
what's happening? I'm surprised this movie didn't do that kind of stuff as well.
The
Of,
robot
like-
got into bed. Like it started that way. I thought it was going to be a humorous movie with
Because they
that
were
little
cheeky with
presentation.
the-
Yeah, and like that little montage of we're at the mall with the like sped up people with the funny footstep sounds, and the kid gets the ice cream
Yeah.
all over him. And I was like, at least it knows it's going to be silly.
Yeah.
And we can, but then it loses all its humor.
Yeah, and tries to go like for like an action flick, sort of. There's a lot
Yeah.
of shooting at
A lot of
robots.
shooting.
This is Roger Corman's wife who directed and like helmed this film, and it's Roger Corman's production company that did it.
A
Who
la
is-
Attack of
A
the
la
Crab.
Attack the Crab.
Oh,
People.
that
So that's how
explains
they
that
got
little.
monsters.
Crab
I
monsters.
can't
Nod.
I did it like 9 times when we watched that movie.
You did.
Fuck.
Did what?
Attack of the Crab People.
It's called Monsters.
Monsters,
right?
it is, yeah.
Crabs can't be people. Silly.
No.
But yeah, so I take it. So yeah, it was all lined up to run her over, and it didn't.
And it didn't.
And there was no chopping.
No chopping.
Bullshit.
It's a lie of a film.
Bing ding.
Can't believe you watched the new Dawn of the Dead.
Yo,
Yeah.
it's-
How are we gonna get through the rest of this podcast?
Oh, it's going to be hilarious.
It's just gonna be.
It's going to be what it'll be.
It's gonna be mixing up the format. This is what we should do every time someone gets assigned the role of.
I think you would've liked the old one.
Wait,
I'm
here's
probably gonna watch it.
here's my question: how, at no point in watching that movie, did you realize that we didn't think that version was a classic?
You know, it's been a busy week. I've been
been a busy
tired,
week,
and
okay.
I was just like, I watched an hour of it one day, and then 40 minutes another day, and I was just like, I'm just gotta watch the movie. Like, it wasn't like a question it. It was like I just gotta like get this task
It's a
done.
task.
Yeah, I feel like we should pause this podcast, make Jack go watch the other Dawn of the Dead, and then pick it up tomorrow.
Well, let's take a break. We've already taken a break.
No,
We're,
No.
let's
this is break now.
Break.
Break now.
Break now.
break
time.
now.
Break now.
Welcome back.
You snorted over it.
Yeah, whatever. I'm gonna start this way before, anyways.
No.
You monster.
It doesn't matter.
So we are back, and not only did I totally watch the wrong movie, it turns out Dan also watched a different. Everyone watched a slightly different Dawn of the
Yeah.
Dead.
Well, I think that Sean.
Me, I say slightly. I watched a
Yeah,
completely
you
different.
You
Dawn of
watched
the
a
Dead.
different
totally
version.
different movie.
It was at a mall,
It
and
did.
there
Yeah,
were
it was.
zombies.
Yep.
You know, we can say some stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm sure a lot of the story elements are actually pretty similar.
I
know that movie starts in the middle of the apocalypse, similar to ours.
Ours is the
Kind
start of the apocalypse.
It's the start.
Yeah, like it starts with the little girl going crazy, and then the mom runs outside and sees that like the world is kind of crumbling around her, right?
Yeah, but there are a few like a scene and a half of her like working at the hospital as a nurse, and there's like report of a guy came in with a bit hand. Well, why is he being moved to the ICU? Oh, he's
At the beginning of the movie?
Yep.
Oh, I thought it opens with in the morning with the little girl.
No. So there's a couple scenes before.
Okay.
And then that hits, and then there's actually some decent shots in there, and then like the weird part of the story actually is at the ending, like you mentioned the helicopter. They decide that they want to get to this guy's boat.
It's different.
Ooh, and then in the post credits, did you watch the post credits?
I sure did, because
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
Because they make the movie end like they got to the boat, 4 of them are left alive, and they get off and they go on the boat. Mm-hmm. And then there's like through the post credits and there's a funny line in the movie too where someone's like, we want to get out of here and just go to some island that we don't even know exists. And I'm like, you don't know if there's an island off of like the city you live in? Like you can see it from shore, like
Yeah.
you can, like even the shots, like it's there, which I thought was funny. And they get there, and in this post credits, like shot by shot, like someone has a camcorder now, and then suddenly it's like the island is also totally swarming with zombies for some reason. and it implies that they still
Zack
died.
Snyder.
And you're like,
presents.
that's lame. Why
Yeah,
would you?
that doesn't sound brilliant at all.
You can't just like have another. You can't re-end your movie during the credits. That's
Ugh. There's a great part at the beginning of our film where like the killing outright just like slaughtering of all these zombies is clearly state sponsored, and like the militias of all these like local areas are getting together. So the army's walking through the field shooting zombies, but all the white fellers are out with their guns and they're gunning down whoever they want.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it's real gross. It's real gross. So, okay, so is ours
yeah.
supposed to pick up where the last one left off?
I don't think it's that specific. I think it is just like that one is set at the very like precipice beginning of a zombie outbreak, and then this one happens to take place a day or two into a zombie outbreak.
Right, so same world and like the timeline.
Doesn't not necessarily the same world or timeline, but just like there are zombie outbreaks and this one takes place at that point in that one, and this one takes place at this point in this one.
theme and variation.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Theme and variation.
Oh, they said demon variation.
Demon
And I
variation.
was like, not much.
The two.
What?
I don't know.
Yeah. So let's get into our Zatu.
Zatu.
That's my code phrase for activating Sean. Demon variation. Sean goes Zatu.
Zatu.
All right, let's get into our second round, which is production good. So let's maybe talk Chopping Mall first.
Yeah, let's do the one we both watched.
I was surprisingly happy with the production value of Chopping Mall. You hear a movie is called Chopping Mall and you assume it's going to be cheap and shitty, but this was a real movie.
Yes. Like, cool lasers, honestly, for this film. Those lasers are kind of cool and fun.
The robots themselves.
Robots,
Yeah.
when the robots are not moving, talking, or, like, making sounds, they're pretty scary.
Oh, but regardless of scary,
Yeah.
just on a production level,
They're cool.
they're like,
Probably remote controlled or something.
yeah, but that's hard to do. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
like they were neat. They were neat. I was impressed with them.
They were neat for sure. They did look kind of silly when they raised their arms into the air, and they're supposed to be intimidating, but they just
Yeah.
remind me of that dude from Team America when he's giving the signal for I'm in danger.
Yeah.
But I was expecting the movie to be like always the front half of the robot to hide the fact that some dude is like pushing it
Right.
from behind.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
But instead, it's like always a freestanding.
Maybe it was
thing.
someone inside and they
I
put
was
a
just
monocoque
thinking
around
that.
Oh, I think it's like
They put a,
highly likely that,
monocoque
like,
around it?
Monocoque, yeah.
What's a monocoque?
It is the like singular shell of a vehicle.
as opposed to a
Oh,
cockpit
yeah, yeah,
where
yeah.
you have a special pit for it. I'm guessing, right?
A cockpit can go in a monocoque.
Cockstar was the best part of the production of.
Yeah, certainly.
It's in the movie. If you watch Chopping Mall, keep your eyes out for Cockstar.
I wonder how many people know this movie actually exists.
Oh, tons. It's got a big cult following.
Does it really?
Yeah, it's the Roger Corman's production company. It's his wife
remember who that
directing.
is.
He directed Attack of the
Crab people.
Crab. Fuck.
Crab persons.
I can never say that.
Lobster men.
Yeah, crustacean folk.
Yeah.
And countless other horror movies through the decades.
Attack of the Crustacean
My
folk.
brain kept going. Attack of the Crayfish Friends.
Yeah.
Okay, so how was it received when it first came out?
Oh, probably as like a B horror film that, you know,
Like a
probably
summer slasher?
it's for people to just go into the movies. Let's see. Oh, this movie
Right,
is running
right, little
today.
popcorn
Let's
flick.
see it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Back when those existed.
That makes sense. One thing I did appreciate with Chopping Mall that was not the case with our version of Dawn of the Dead was that it had a cohesiveness to its soundtrack.
Yeah.
Everything felt like it was supposed to be in the movie. And
Yeah.
Dawn of the Dead was fucking all over the place. I watched a version of it that was on YouTube, and it was like the extended director's cut or something. So it was like 30 minutes longer than yours.
Yeah,
And I don't
gross.
know. So, and the music, sometimes it felt so out of place that I wondered if somebody had put a different song in the movie to like trick the algorithm, so in case there was like an illegal upload or something.
Right.
Yeah, it does sound like that at times. Well, so the movie was funded by this Italian horror film director and producer and musician named Dario Argento, whose name is like all over the start of this film.
Yeah.
Or Argento, I don't know. And he, in exchange for like funding the film, he and his friends, the band Goblin, which are an Italian prog rock band, they got to do the soundtrack for the international release, so not the American one. But Romero liked a few of the songs from their cut and like put them in. So all of a sudden, to describe it, Jack, there'll be like a horrible zombie attack, and then the zombie attack theme from this Italian prog rock band from the late 70s comes in.
Okay.
And it repeats it every time there's a zombie attack. So it's really intrusive synth rock.
But then they'll like really shift gears tonally, and like at the very end of the movie, when our I guess our main protagonist, the black soldier,
Washington.
Yeah, I guess so. But so the whole idea in Ours is that he has their like habitat in the mall has been infiltrated by the zombies, and now he is sending the woman that is living with him off to go like to safety, and he's going to stay behind and essentially fight the zombies off and then die a hero's death because I guess he feels guilty for letting his friend die.
His buddy got bit and slowly died. He had to kill his buddy.
Yeah. But then at the last minute, he decides he actually wants to live. So he like fights his way through this horde of zombies to get to the helicopter that is taking off. And like the theme song from the A-Team starts playing.
Yeah, and he's kicking zombie ass.
Yeah, and it's like da 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 da. It's almost like
chops.
Indiana Jones-ish. Like it was really fucking weird and so
definite A-Team vibes.
Yeah,
it's a very hard turn to the left, but that's where they edited the end of the film to have him not kill himself because he was supposed to kill himself, and then they
but they didn't.
But that music is still ridiculous. And then they bring in this like polka theme. Which is once played over all the zombies, like mindlessly grabbing at objects in the stores and like holding up sweaters and like looking at jewelry and stuff. And it's playing over that, and you're like, oh, it's fucking ridiculous. These people are so silly, even in death. And then it plays at the end of the film.
Credits, yeah.
Over the credits, you end with this like.
Yeah, it was really strange. And then like. At times, it almost felt sci-fi-ish, like otherworldly, but not in like a supernatural sense, but in like an alien technology.
Yeah, just like low synth vibes.
Vibes and like weird kind of like bubbles, kind of. You know what I mean?
So it is a very eclectic soundtrack.
Yeah,
that doesn't always suit what's happening.
Yes, eclectic is a good word for it, but I would also use random.
Yeah, that's what eclectic means.
Yeah. I feel like eclectic though is there's more of a positive connotation to eclectic. It's like
bit.
It's like eclectic in like a fun way.
They're so eclectic,
as opposed to random, which is like you didn't know.
They're so random.
What to do here?
Yeah. And I'll even add to the Chopping Mall soundtrack. It seemed like it had its bass synth, and then it would add layers on as the movie went, as though to imply that things were developing.
Yeah.
Not to give it too much praise.
I will say the special effects in Dawn of the Dead are pretty fucking good.
So
there's a lot of like zombies tearing flesh out of arms and stuff.
There's a lot of time. Yeah, you would really appreciate it, Jack. There's a lot of times where it's very clearly just like red paint and like very much the wrong shade of red for blood. But a lot of the practical effects with zombies actually taking chunks out of flesh is really really cool.
In necks and like on arms.
Super visceral,
and, like,
really well crafted prosthetics.
And
like
there's one gag which is really dumb, but it's kind of funny, where one of the baddies gets like cornered in a pharmacy and he jams his arm into somehow he sits in one of the heart monitor things where you put your arm through the inflatable pump, and the zombies get him and they rip him away from his arm, and the thing says 0/0 for his blood pressure because it's just an arm in there, but they pull him apart and they must have gotten like pig pig entrails from the
Right.
local butcher or something, and they just stuffed this corpse or this body bag full of all these entrails, and they're pulling them apart and like pretending to eat them. It's really good.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's. I mean, a lot. It gets a little gratuitous after the raid. So it's,
Oh yeah,
after they've been living in the mall very peacefully and comfortably for months, some raiders kind of stumble upon the mall and just fuck everything up and let all the zombies in, and they don't kill any of them, but they do allow for the
No.
one guy to die.
Yeah.
But a lot of the raiders get taken out by zombies, and there's a whole sequence of maybe like 3 minutes where it's just watching zombies like
carnage.
chew on human flesh. That's a little much.
A lot of bones, a lot of like they got pig bones and like put chicken on it and stuff, so they could like rip chicken off the pig bones and stuff like that.
It does look great, but
Cow bones.
in contrast to that, the zombies look terrible.
Yeah, it's just gray makeup.
It's literally
Right, same as
Yeah.
the last one.
yeah.
yeah.
The zombies look really good in Snyder's.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what are the effects like in the Zack Snyder's?
They're pretty good. There was like
State of the
one
art.
guy that really looks like he's just wearing like a Michael Myers mask.
Yeah.
But other than that, they're pretty good. There's like one guy who like runs at them and he has missing an arm, and it looks really like it looks
Oh.
quite good, and it's pretty freaky, and yeah, like that a bit of thought went into each one sometimes, like when
Yeah.
there's a group of them, and yeah, they look pretty good. Like they're unsettling.
Yeah.
And there's a degree of that, and they get worse as like the days goes on, kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know.
Well,
And there was like shades of that in the one that we saw. There were a couple of zombies that looked like they were at a later stage of degradation.
yeah.
But for the most part, it was just kind of very even
Yeah.
white makeup, except for when our main characters turned into zombies. They immediately had far more detail.
Yeah.
Uh,
Like you're talking to the guy who turns and he sits up in bed and he's suddenly a zombie.
that I thought was a super creepy
Yeah, I
sequence.
thought so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so hard to like.
Yeah, without you have
Every-
to watch it.
Oh, I'm gonna watch.
You have to watch it.
They do what they do with the gore effects though is they actually use it because it starts off a different movie where the world still exists and there are still human interactions in these cities and stuff, and one of them is the killing is state sponsored now.
Yeah.
And the cops have carte blanche if there is I think it's like the Catholics in this one tenement building have some bodies in their basement because their loved ones died and they're refusing to desecrate the body. So the cops have carte blanche to break in and murder at random. They actually give like a really racist cop part of the spotlight as he's going through and screaming the N-word and like just kicking down doors and blowing away whoever's there. But they use the violence of all these people having like shotguns put to their head and their heads exploding in juxtaposition with what they're doing to the zombies later too.
Right.
And it's like, oh yeah, there it is. Yep.
Yeah. No such nuance in the new one.
In the
It's
new
just-
one, no.
No, just
No,
zombie.
the
vibe.
new one is a straight up zombie movie.
Is there? Do you think there's any nuance in? I mean, we're getting back into story
In Chopping Mall.
in Shopping Mall. Is there any nuance at all, really?
Like it's definitely is a commentary on commercialism of sorts in
Of
that
sorts.
it takes place in a mall.
Yeah.
I like it's a theme.
Yeah. Like you can't say it's not there.
Yeah.
Well,
But like the future of automated property defense, you could dive into that.
it is very scary.
Yeah. And here
Scary.
we go.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well timed.
Bing ding.
That takes us into our next round, which is,
I'm all fucking tangled up here. Okay.
ready then? Our third.
My pants are too tight on my fucking balls now. I need to start continue.
Jesus.
Sorry.
our
Sorry, Dad.
Our he doesn't listen.
No, he doesn't. I hope not.
Mike, I don't know. I forget what your dad's name is.
Greg.
Yeah, that's pretty close.
Yeah.
I was up there. Our third round, which is acting good.
Well, Chopping Mall has some of it
Yeah,
sometime.
sometimes.
There's a bit.
Like douchebag guy who chews gum.
He chews gum really well.
He made some strong character choices.
You can't say he wasn't acting.
I bet you he just chews gum and he like, no, I'm not taking it out. I bet he's that.
Or
kind of
is he such a good actor that you believe that that's
you know what?
a
That's
real
it.
human?
Oscar for him, please.
It's more likely that he did some fucking weekend courses at Stella Adler
Right.
and saw Marlon Brando chewing gum.
Yeah.
And was like, I'm gonna chew gum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm feeling is more likely. I thought the girl who burned alive I mentioned, I thought she was like an actor.
Was she the one who tempted the other guy with her boobs, like to come back faster with the cigarettes?
No.
Yeah,
Nope.
those.
That's the girl who gets her head blown off by the laser.
Right, that was great.
Yep.
I really enjoyed watching her die.
The women really die the
most
terrible
brutally.
deaths
Yeah.
in this, eh?
Yeah, except the one who just gets like shot in the stomach.
Yeah, where a baby would be because
I
she's
guess.
a sinner.
Right. Are there heavy neo-Christian vibes in this film? Is that where we're
Well,
going?
there's the whole fucking virgin
the
thing.
virgin thing.
Also, for the record, she got shot in the vagina.
Okay. We'll have to do a play-by-play slow-mo of that laser beam.
Done.
Okay.
To be honest, some of the acting in the newer Dawn of the Dead
Yeah.
is one of the parts that helps it.
Omar Epps.
The leads are just
Who's in
terrible.
It's Omar Epps. and
There's Ving Rhames.
Ving Rhames.
There's
What the fuck?
there's
Yeah.
fucking.
Have you never heard of this movie?
I've heard of it. I just haven't watched
never
it
seen
or
it?
cared about it. Yeah.
What's his name? Ty
Excuse
Burrell.
me.
Ty Burrell.
Ty Burrell is in it.
Okay.
And he's pretty funny. Like he just plays a jerk. Sarah Polley.
Sarah Polley. Oh, Sarah Polley. Cool. She's Canadian, acting royalty now.
I think are we thinking of the same person? I think I was thinking of the person you're thinking of. She looks like that.
Yeah, that's Sarah Polley.
She's awful.
Oh, no.
She's truly, truly awful. Ving Rhames isn't bad.
It's
A guy named
hilarious
Jake
after
Weber.
She's Canadian acting royalty.
Jake Weber. He looks like he's the son of Roth, the guy from what's his name? Something Roth from
Eli Roth?
no, the other one.
Tim Roth.
Tim Roth.
Tim Roth. He looks
Yeah.
like he's like the son of Tim Roth, sort of. He's older in this photo now.
Jake Weber.
I love that
Oh,
this is
yeah.
now technically reviewing 3 movies.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Hey, it's a 3-in-1. You're welcome.
It's a
That's
first.
cool. A threefer?
Three
And
for.
he's kind of he underplays stuff quite well. Oh yeah, Michael Kelly is in it. That guy.
Oh, yeah.
He's quite good in it. He plays like a jerk of like a security guy. And there's some other like little parts and like people dying that you're like, oh, that kind of stung a little bit. And it doesn't have the other guy from the Fast and Furious movies, isn't it?
Vin Diesel's in it?
Yeah. No, never mind.
Well, Chopping Mall had discount John Travolta.
It sure did.
Who was
It
like
had,
a very attractive man.
yeah, it had
Yeah.
discount Woody Harrelson.
Oh yeah, that guy was.
Which
cute.
one was he?
He was
he was a scientist.
Scientist that
The
got
second
murdered.
scientist who does some very, very good like
Is something
solo
moving
acting.
Yeah,
over
yeah,
my
it does.
shoulder
Yeah.
for like 90 seconds?
Yeah.
Clean
And
up
I'm-
here.
and it's
Eat the
great.
donuts.
is great.
Discount Rick Moranis was the nerd.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
You said Ed Helms, which isn't contemporary to the mid '80s, but like it's true nonetheless. And then the janitor that is cleaning up the puke with the bowl of milk.
Discount Harvey Keitel.
Harvey Keitel. I was thinking Jack Lemmon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, big discount Jack Lemmon vibes.
Yeah.
there.
How's the acting in the older Dawn of the Dead?
Dawn, like it's consistently fine.
It gets better.
Yeah.
Everything about that movie gets better throughout the movie. I found that it was like almost unwatchable when the movie started. It just and like part of it is 'cause-
Everyone's intense.
well, part
and
of it
screaming at
is
each
that
other.
they're trying to
That makes
really play up the chaos.
Yeah.
But a lot of that just results in me not, or you as the viewer not being able to fucking hear or understand anything that's happening.
Right.
But then like as we kind of get into the story and like we kind of get the characters on their own and do like it gets I don't know, more watchable. The lead woman was like touch and go.
Yeah.
I would say she has some moments where she's really connected to what's happening and like really, really grounded and believable. And then some moments where it seems like she's putting on a weird like mid-Atlantic accent and doing like her best fucking like Marilyn
Yeah.
Monroe. Like it's very strange.
Then she also unfortunately suffers from being written as a mostly damsel in distress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she does have her whole like.
She learns how to fly the helicopter.
Yeah, and she like stands up for herself and demands a gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought the first soldier to die was the most interesting of the cast. So there's two soldiers, one white, one black.
Right.
They both like decided to leave the force to pursue
Yeah,
safety.
they heard the one guy's buddy had a chopper out, and
Right.
they were heading to a safe zone or something. He was like, "We got to get it, man." So they
And
flee.
he's really the only one who goes on any kind of like emotional arc in the movie. He starts as like a grounded soldier, and then eventually gets like fucking like trigger happy and really kind of indulges in like the killing of these zombies.
Yeah.
And then he is the first one to get, I think the only one to get bitten.
Yeah, is he the one? The Vietnam imagery is really heavy in it. So like, is he the one that has to shoot the children?
No, that's the other one.
Is the other one?
That's
There's a
the
lot
other
of
one.
like, oh, these two zombie children come out, and he has to like gun them down and blow their heads off after. And the designer had served in Vietnam, and apparently he based a lot of the like gore and stuff on the bullshit he had to do when he was over in Vietnam.
Jesus Christ.
But
I'm sure that was a healthy experience
yeah,
for him to do.
yeah.
That sounds really good.
yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Those children were great though.
Really great children.
Really grounded the film.
Really, really great performances. But he then gets bitten, and you kind of watch him slowly deteriorate physically, and then he has his moment where he comes back as a zombie, and he has this whole scene where he's all high on morphine, and he's like pleading with his buddy to not decapitate him after he dies. He's gonna desperately try not to come back. It's this really kind of touching moment.
He's like, I'm gonna try not to. I'm gonna try not to turn.
But he's also all loopy and high on morphine. Like he's the only actor who actually had a chance. I don't know if it was the writing that he only had. It was only him that had the chance to do anything interesting, or if he was the only one making any kind of really interesting choices. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean the arc for the main character in the one ending is like he realized they all realize the hopelessness of what's to come, so they instead of facing it decide to kill themselves, which is an arc. And in this one, the A-team role was them like being like optimism is key, I think, and it doesn't matter what's out there, we'll be okay. Maybe
There are lines in the new one of like shouldn't have messed with America.
I mean, are they said? Does the movie hold those values up, or is it criticizing those values? Or is it just not taking a stance because it knows it's the safest route?
I think that one.
Okay, yeah.
I think
the Wicker Man problem.
Yeah, or I think it's not really trying to do either. There's also a part where they have a shot where like the security people are watching a news report that's still happening outside, which is wild, of a cop who looks a lot like Mark Maron. Like it might be Mark Maron, but then he takes off like his sunglasses, and I'm like, that's not Mark Maron, but like everything about it says
Discount
Mark
Mark
Maron.
Maron.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on, and they're like shooting zombies in the head, being like, you gotta shoot him in the head. That's what works. Shoot him in the head. All right. And he's being very matter of fact. And he's like, I know some of these people. All right. It's not. I don't want to do this, but this is what we gotta do. We gotta shoot him in the head.
Yeah.
And get that one. It's a twitcher. And they're like, that's one's twitching on the ground and whatever. So, which really kind of confuses the movie in other ways, though, because, like, how are they functioning outside? This is my issue with zombie movies always, which is that if you have like a mindless horde and you have intelligence, you should do very well.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is what I'm thinking about right now. It's especially in our version of Dawn of the Dead, because I think, if I remember correctly, in the Zack Snyder one, they are fast and like
They
uber
run.
violent, and they like they're closer to like the zombies from 28 Days Later. Like they are
Right. They're
really-
horror
they're
zombies,
horror
whereas
zombies.
ours were like metaphor zombies.
Yeah, no,
Exactly.
these ones are horror. They're almost intelligent at times.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
the ones in the original are literally brainless. They don't run. They like barely walk.
Some
They
of
are-
them hold tools.
So yeah.
Yeah.
But it is very much a case of like, in the real world,
What's
this
the issue?
this wouldn't actually be a problem.
No. No.
Right?
The only thing that was scary about them was they clearly are portrayed to have, usually, there's a few like stunt moments, to have like superhuman strength. So if they do grab you, it's really difficult to like get away.
Yeah.
But there's no issue evading them
No.
or avoiding them,
No.
right?
Yeah.
And this whole, moral quandary of do we decapitate our dead? I don't think that would ever be an actual problem. If people were rising from the dead and we had a surefire way.
Don't put this little piece of cloth on my mouth. I'm not going to like it if you make me put this cloth on my mouth. Don't you dare.
I mean, those people
Yeah,
would be the
but-
ones who would be like, I think on the contrary, I think it would be some of our lefty friends who would be like,
You can't disagree
I'd
with
be like,
bodies,
they're
man.
they're different.
I think that's right. I think that's right.
They're just different.
No, there'd be an extreme religious sect that would be like,
Sure.
We do not befoul the bodies.
But yeah, I just take issue with it. Like, I just always, even when they do run faster, it's like when they got into the gun store, they were like, let's get out of here. I'm like, what's the rush? And like, so wait, you're telling me dude up on top of that roof, if you remember him, he just sits there with like a sniper rifle, just like shooting them. It's like a game they play sometimes. They'll put like a name of a lookalike and they'll try and shoot them. It's kind of funny. And it's like, so why don't you just keep at it, buddy? Go until you run out of bullets.
Right.
What do you got to lose?
Yeah, there's a gun store in the mall in ours, and they had the gun. There was a gun store across the street. Was that it?
Yeah.
So what's in the shopping mall in yours? If like all the stores they use are across the street.
Everything but guns.
Oh, okay, so they got clothes, they got jewels.
Yeah. There's like some food spots.
Right.
There's
Just the
some
guns.
et
I
cetera.
guess that's an opportunity to introduce a more dramatic scene. The gun stores across the street.
But they just like, quick, let's go. And it's like, no. You should just. There were like maybe 200 zombies out in front of. That's a lot of zombies.
Yeah.
You know how many bullets you have? Like thousands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, that's one of the things they do in our version of Dawn of the Dead. They don't kill the zombies outside, but they barricade all the doors and lock all the zombies that are already inside the mall in the mall, and then just go on a killing spree.
Yeah.
And get all of them killed, and they clear the whole thing out, and then they have like this whole mall to
Yeah,
themselves.
which is why they can survive for like 5 months. They're just kind of
because they have all the food
they have
they
them all.
want, and
Yeah.
it's actually like a really interesting.
Smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, that sounds nice.
It does sound nice. But like I think that's why the movie 28 Days Later is so interesting, because they set the zombies up as still living people, so that like it actually the ethical issue of killing the zombies and how to treat those bodies makes a lot more sense.
Because they're not dead.
Because they're not dead. They're people who are infected with the virus.
Right.
Yeah, it's
And then,
true.
and then you have certain characters who get really trigger happy and just want to go and just want to murder all of them, and they take they find like enjoyment in it, and that is an interesting take, because it's like, who's the real monster in that case. But when the people are dead, you're like, what is the actual problem?
Yeah. But the whole point of our Dawn of the Dead was that even though there is this present threat of the zombies, humanity is still killing itself. Like, they're still going around murdering each other rather than focusing on the threat.
Yeah, how many? I guess.
Oh, for sure.
Is there any people killing each other in our movie? I forget.
Yeah, that's what I mean. In our Dawn of the Dead, like at the start, they're going through the building, just murdering all of those innocent people just living in this tenement building. They're killing each other there, and then it ends with the whole like biker gang coming through, and instead of like trying to see who's in there to like work out some kind of exchange, they just go in on they're gonna kill whoever's in their way and steal it and take their property,
Which would 1,000% happen.
yeah.
I often wonder if I'd eventually end up as one of those people in a zombie apocalypse, like a raider or somebody who's just like out for yourself and kill anybody you come across.
But natural human inclination is to foster community. So I think there would be like also communities of like mutual aid groups and stuff.
I think
Yeah.
bikers are also nicer than you think.
Oh yeah,
They get a bad rap sometimes.
these ones were mean.
These ones were mean bikers.
were mean bikers.
Yeah.
I also think, though, that in the real world, especially now because we have movies like the ones we watched, malls would absolutely be a fucking battleground in a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, they would be fortresses
Yeah.
eventually.
Yeah.
Yep.
I want to see that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see a zombie movie done in a way that feels like fucking exactly yes. That isn't like yeah, maybe if people were only dumb. Like I just want to see more zombie movies where people are very smart.
But this one felt the closest to that I've seen in a zombie movie. It felt like people were making like intelligent decisions realistic decisions.
Yeah.
And it wasn't so zombie, like the zombies weren't so dangerous that you didn't have the time to like make a plan and figure out exactly how you're going to survive. And like it felt much more of like a character study on like how one might actually treat an apocalypse as opposed to 90 minutes of gore.
And I think a big hang up that a lot of these any zombie media has is that they need to have the justification that no one's ever heard of a zombie before.
Right.
So I guess what I'm saying is I want to see the zombie flick where they're like, oh shit, zombies.
Zombies are real. Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
we know what to do.
Like the Scream of zombie movies, where there's one person or like there's a group of people who like know the rules of the zombie apocalypse. So when it actually hits, they're like ready for it.
Well, just generally society.
Yeah.
I like my version better.
Just like
Because in Scream,
an elite
there's-
force.
No, but like in Scream, there's like the one guy who knows all the rules of the horror movies, and the whole idea of the killer is that he's like abiding by these horror movie tropes.
Yeah.
So the one guy is kind of like the key to like surviving the killing spree, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not suggesting that, but I mean like prior knowledge of zombie lore in a zombie apocalypse movie would be an asset for a character, right?
Yeah. And people who haven't seen any zombie media somehow are just getting fucked.
Yeah, just getting fucked.
They're like the head, and you're like, what the? Where have you been?
Yeah. Haven't you watched all these movies?
And like the
Haven't you
people just
listened-
let them get taken.
Haven't you listened to Citizen Kane versus?
Yeah.
Are we going to be the podcast that saves the world in the zombie
No.
apocalypse?
No.
Okay.
No. Well, on that note, let's take a break. See you soon. And we're back. Hey there. Welcome to the end segment of the podcast.
Welcome back is acceptable too.
No, welcome to the end segment.
I love that every segment is like an intro to the podcast.
Yeah, hi there.
Yeah.
I'm Jack Rennie, and I'm joined by my two friends. A two,
Fuck.
and the other.
Beelzebub.
Yeah. Welcome to the pod. So, now that we've successfully discussed the various categories to 3 different movies,
You okay? So
one of which I can vote on whatever I
you
want.
have to vote on the 2 you watch.
Yes, correct.
And we'll vote for the ones we watch.
Correct.
Okay.
And you have to vote, and you're voting for your Dawn of the Dead, which the director's
I
cut.
still don't know what the difference between ours was, because
don't
I
know.
guess mine was extended.
Mine is the domestic release.
Right. So we should probably talk through the movie beat by beat and see what extra.
Take an extra 45 minutes
Yeah.
to talk through the movie.
Can you take actually 2 hours and 40 minutes to really like moment to moment? Like, can you act it out for, okay.
Well, like here's the thing. So when they get to the apartment in the top of the mall,
Yeah.
there was an hour left for me at that point.
I have no idea, man.
Dan checked. He was-
Well, I remember I paused it to pee, and then I was like, "There's still a fucking hour of this movie." It's the best hour of the movie, though.
All right. So first round, story. Story. I will begin.
Okay, yeah. Tell us the wisdom
Of mine. So
your 2 films.
mine. Quick logic behind it. I take issue with zombie. Much as I was saying at the end of previous rounds and whatever. Like zombie movie logic and storytelling to me is often just like becomes annoying because it's like rooted in people being dumb. Even when they have time to settle and plan, they're like, all right, now that we've had a moment, let's be idiots. And I just can't do it. And also the post-credits thing we talked about is really fucking stupid for that kind of storytelling thing. At least Chopping Mall had like a sort of quirky premise that I haven't seen before, executed cleanly. Like, if nothing else, I'm going to say Chopping Mall.
Okay.
Interesting.
So there you go. That's
that's
what
fair.
it is.
Very interesting.
The nuanced direction and writing and understanding of the material he was working with, the George A. Romero brought
Chopping.
to Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
I'm not
tasted
picking you up at all, Sean.
Oh, Not at all, you say.
Like barely at all. Hold on.
Oh no.
Is this part of that brilliant? I should have known when you said brilliant essay.
Brilliant essay. Do we have to stop? Oh, nope, we're back.
No, you're back.
Okay. Well, that's fun. Well, I'm choosing Dawn of the Dead, the one I watched.
Yeah, that
Oh
makes sense.
no! There's gonna be like 2 minutes there where Sean just wasn't. We gotta check your microphone after, I think.
Okay.
In the meantime, I will also go with Dawn of the Dead.
Fuck.
Yeah, sorry,
Well,
man.
wait, Zack Snyder's one, or because you've kind of seen it.
Yeah, I don't know. No, I go with
You have
the,
seen it.
the George.
Dan can kind of vote on all
could.
three.
In order, it would go George A. Romero, Dawn of the Dead, Zack Snyder, Dawn of the Dead, 28 Days Later, Chopping Mall.
Okay, fair enough.
Is adding a fourth movie?
Yeah.
You have to add a third column there.
Dawn of the Dead, Zack Snyder. The
Yeah.
Snyder Cut.
The Snyder Cut.
Why did I put ZN? There we go.
It's what they call circumcisions these days. Okay. All right. Category 2, production.
Chopping Mall. Oh, I guess, yeah, yours will be different than...
Oh no, okay, but you say chopping mall. Okay, no, you go first. Let's
yeah,
do
I
it.
go Chopping Mall.
Chopping Mall?
Yeah, the production
Mall.
of our Dawn of the Dead is like pretty fucking bad.
Budget is $600,000. Yeah.
How did he not get more money given the success of the first one?
Because it was produced by a flamboyant Italian prog rocker.
Right, that tracks.
Okay. Well, whatever the reason was, it was quite bad. There was a lot of the shots were out of focus. The lighting was terrible. The cinematography was bland. The music choices were fucking weird.
That's true. Music does kill it. Chopping Mall.
Yeah.
Look, the zombies looked decent in Dawn of the Dead,
All the zombies too, and yeah. Okay.
but I'd also give it a chopping mall.
Wow, way to go, Chopping Mall.
I thought it was like aesthetically consistent,
Yep.
which is not hard, but they didn't try and go crazy with it.
Yep.
They built some metal doors to slide in things.
They did do that.
They built some robots.
Yeah, the
You
robots are
fucking-
well made.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Yep.
The movie,
Chopping Mall.
but it didn't have chopping. But
Yes,
But
that's a
in-
story thing.
but just in terms of technical,
The movie was called Killbots at first,
which
and the bots kill.
and the bots do kill.
Yep.
So anyway,
It should be called Mall Bots.
Yeah. Paul
But-
Paul
Paul
Blart,
Blart Mall
Paul
Bots.
Blart Killer Mall Cop.
but mall spelled M-A-U-L,
And bots is
spelled B-O-O-B-S.
Mall boobs. They do that. Yeah.
booms.
Oh dear. Well, next
Oh, man.
category.
So the scores are stacking up
We're
nicely.
tied.
Acting for me, I'll start this one again.
Yeah.
I just find the acting was abysmal in Chopping Mall. Yeah, I really couldn't get behind it. It wasn't lifting the movie up in any way. It was bringing it down. Whereas the performances, I kind of mentioned this before, in the circumcision cut of Dawn of the Dead was like a little bit like not from the main people,
Yeah.
but like a lot of other people did stuff that was actually pretty good.
Okay.
At least, you know, you had Ving Rhames being Ving Rhames,
Rhames.
and that's kind of fun. And
Gotta love the thing.
you gotta love the Ving.
Love the
you know?
Ving.
He doesn't
Well-
mix it up, but like what he gives is you get it.
Gives you that Ving sting, you know.
And his relationship with I mentioned he was the guy who had the relationship with signs across the street
Oh,
with the
cute.
gun guy.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was they played chess. They'd write down their moves. Like it was
Yeah.
charming.
It was charming, and he was a part of that. He gave it some heart. So yeah, I would say Dawn of the Dead Snyder cut
Okay.
for my vote.
Bing Ving. I would do.
Ving Ving.
I said Bing Ving.
Oh.
I would go the George A. Romero cut.
Yeah.
It sounds like we're talking about hairdos. I would do that cut of the Dawn of the Dead.
Not Zack Snyder.
So in order, it goes George A. Romero, Dawn of the Dead, 28 Days Later with
Really?
Cillian Murphy.
That was the first. Are you sure?
Fair point. Fair point.
It
No.
goes Dawn of the Dead, fucking Godfather.
Fucking Godfather.
Okay.
Yeah, Dawn of the Dead over Chopping Mall for sure. Even though some of the performances early in the movie are borderline unwatchable.
Yeah.
and I was just routinely infuriated with our pilot, Flyboy, whatever his name was.
Flyboy, yeah.
Flyboy. Although I didn't think he was a bad actor, but I thought he was written as just an insufferable
Discount
character.
Hugh Laurie.
Discount. I would say discount guy from Jaws.
Definitely discount Hugh Laurie.
Nah, I don't know, man.
So, sorry, Sean, where's my point for Snyder Cut?
Oh, right. Sorry. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's over here.
That's an acting?
Yeah, sorry. I got to erase one
Yeah,
from
and it's
there.
it's an acting, not
and,
story.
And you gave it to story. Okay.
No, I am telling you for acting. I'm literally,
Oh, yeah. There you go.
that's not there. That one is 2.
So the final score of 3-1 to 4.
Well,
No,
hi.
Sean hasn't get his point.
Dawn of the Dead 2. That's mine.
Dawn of the Dead 2,
Dawn of the Dead 2.
called Dusk of the Living.
Yeah, that's the one. I will be giving it to the Romero cut
Why?
because they're better.
Yeah,
They're better.
They were better. Chopping Mall was hard to watch.
Yeah, the performances suck.
Although the boobs did make some pretty interesting choices.
The
Yeah.
boobs were boobs,
The boobs, and all nice.
and they used tactics to accomplish tasks.
Yeah, they were better actors in some ways.
Yeah.
So, when casting a movie like that, I mean, I feel like
Oh, I forgot to read this to you. Casting. There is a definite like chunk under casting on the Wikipedia page for Chopping Mall, and I'm just gonna read it to you.
Please do.
Because it's written very nonchalantly, and that's pretty silly.
Actors were asked to come in and read their sides and then blow the producer, and then they were informed 2 weeks later if they got the part or not.
Wynorski, who was the writer and I guess probably a producer as well, says Kelly Maroney was cast. She is the first girl who dies, I think. I'd seen Kelly in a couple of things, and I wanted to date her. So I figured the one way to make that happen was to put her in a movie.
Shut up.
She
No
replaced
way.
she replaced Dana Kimmel, who had been cast on the strength of her performance in Lone Wolf McQuade. But Dana did not want to do anything that was sexual, according to Mitchell. So Jim was very quick to say, well, she's out, let's get Kelly, who is pretty much game for anything.
Cute.
Oh my fucking God. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the problem with the film industry.
And those people got married, probably, and had a kid.
Yeah, sure.
That is fucked.
Yeah. I wanted to date her, so I put her in my movie.
I wanted her boobs.
I wanted to date her, and the other one didn't want us to fucking objectify her naked body, so I was like, get the other one who wants to fuck.
Yep. Anyways,
How the score is there, Sean?
I have no idea because of your Zack Snyder thing, but
Ooh,
I'm
good
pretty
point.
sure it's 2-1 for Dawn of the Dead.
No, how can that be right? Oh, no. Hold on.
I think that tracks.
Well, one, you and I both said Chopping Mall for... All three of us said Chopping
for
Mall
production.
for production.
One-
Yeah,
one
so they got
production.
that one.
And then for story, you said Chopping Mall, but we said Dawn of the Dead.
We said Dawn of the Dead.
And then we all agreed on one version or another of Dawn of the Dead.
Correct. That's 2-1.
That's 2... It's like... Yeah.
So the score of 2-1, the Citizen Kane of the week once again is
It gets up and kills. The people it kills get up and kill.
Dawn of the Dead, the Romero cut. Well, great. What a neat experiment that we should totally not repeat. But it was funny. I'm sorry, everyone. I do look forward to watching it.
Yeah, you should.
I really do want to watch it now, especially with the meanings of who to shoot and not to shoot. America, a history play.
Correct.
It is like a rather interesting movie,
Yeah.
I think. And it
Yeah.
does like earn it by the end, I would say.
Yeah, it's been named like one of those lists, those big lists that the like American film whatever puts out. It's in the top 100 films of all time kind of thing.
Would you say you're going to watch the Snyder Cut now, after hearing about it from me a bit?
No. No.
Because I did talk about how there was the like the
Yeah.
kind of
I actually regret watching it more after hearing you talk
28 days later. Then for me, it's Romero cut. Weirdly enough, I haven't even seen it, and it's somehow
it's
second.
Still there.
Yeah.
World War Z.
World War Z.
Oh, how was that not the fucking
Schlock.
just the schlock? I
There's
guess
more
the chopping
classic
mall.
zombie movies to get.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean the schlock.
Well, we got to end the Of Dead trilogy.
Yeah.
With Day of the Dead next.
Is fucking World War Z 2 still supposed to come out?
Oh God, what?
Yeah, it's been in production. Like Fincher was directing it.
Okay,
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
But
I
I
don't know
think
about
it's probably not going to be him, and I think it's
probably not.
yeah. Well, thanks so much. So for November, to kind of cleanse our palate after these movies, they were too scary. We're gonna jump into some.
They were not too scary.
They were really,
They were
really
really
scary.
So scary.
Don't we have to versus the verses?
Oh yeah, the versus thing.
Oh yeah.
Unless we want to. Well,
Well,
I mean,
let's
you
do a
can't really
quick-
say what makes it win, I guess.
No,
Well, no,
but
no,
we
it's
would
Chopping
versus
Mall.
Chopping Mall, which works
Chopping
out
Mall.
great.
Right. Oh, fair.
So let's do the verses. So
The versus is important.
Let's put a quick cap on that.
We
Yeah.
know our podcast.
Yeah, we do. It's been a clearly a weird one today.
It has been, yeah.
So Citizen Kane versus Chopping Mall. What is it? First of all, the name. Either needs.
Yeah, no, change
First
your
of all,
name.
the name. It should be Mall Boobs.
Killerbot. Mall. Yeah, it should be Mall.
It should be Mall Boobs.
MAUL. And for whatever reason in the poster, the O's and boobs should be like
Actual
eyes.
boobs.
Yeah.
Oh, eyes.
Like
I thought there was nipples.
and they're angry eyes.
Yeah.
Like it needs to lean.
They have eyebrows.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the L is an upside down axe
Okay.
for chopping.
Yep. No, I love it. If there was an axe, if there was just a single axe, I would be fine with it.
I just
just
didn't-
one chop
Just one chop. I thought that there was like a slot in the middle
in
of
its
it.
penis.
No, like a line down the middle
Jack
of
is
the
gesturing
for like
to
a
his
razor blade.
penis.
right here.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I'm drawing a line. I thought that it was gonna have a buzz saw in it, and I thought it was gonna
Yeah.
pull someone,
That would have made way more sense.
That would have been awesome.
which isn't a chop still, but it's a cut.
It's a saw. Yeah, it's a cut.
See, I feel like in to make this movie work, the idea of like overnight security is interesting, but it's not a fucking robot. It's a fucking killer human who hacks people to bit overnight security.
But the sci-fi part is fun.
Yeah.
It is fun, but if we're talking about making this movie better and more watchable, then
You want Halloween in a mall.
I want Halloween in a mall.
No, I don't want that. I want a goofy movie.
You want it to be more goofy than Chopping Mall.
I want the robot to also be in like the hardware store, like picking up the hammer and going like zzz, zzz, like I mean
Be
like,
like, "No, this will not
and then
do."
throwing it over its shoulder and like then finally like selecting like
Yeah.
two hatchets and being like zzz, zzz,
Oh, we got to
yeah.
do Zombievers. Yeah, that's exactly what Zombievers is. We got to do Zombievers next year.
Zombievers?
Yeah. I've told you about it.
I think that
So we do the next of the dead versus
Zombievers,
Zombievers
yeah.
versus World War Z.
yeah, that's the one.
There it is. We each watch one of them.
Ooh, that's an idea.
That's kind of
bad.
stupid.
and then we
Interview podcast.
duke it
time.
out for which one of us thinks the
Yeah, I wonder if there's a way to do like a free for all battle royale. Anyways,
What happens like if you hated your movie? You're like, don't pick it.
Don't
Everyone's
pick
like,
this
okay.
yeah,
That I think I would vote for making it more quirky, like letting it be
be funny.
schlockier.
Yeah, be schlocky, be
funny.
funny.
So then in that case I think we could probably even stick with the same actors but just have them like really ham it up.
Yeah, just be,
Yeah, because the
be what
archetypes
you
of the
really
actors.
are.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Like do the thing you were cast to do,
Yeah.
but just more.
Be boobs.
and
yeah.
not 3 robots, 1.
No, you want 2 robots, and then the central computer also happens to be mobile. At the that's the boss monster kind of thing, where you think these 2 robots are actually the most dangerous thing, but then your boss robot comes out at the end. Yeah,
And it's carrying like even
and it's
bigger choppers.
and it's Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I think that's the really like I'm joking, but
Be
like
Terminator.
but like really it could just be way more silly.
Yeah.
And I think like more people in the mall after hours dying.
Yeah, what happened to those 2 custodians that kicked over the guy's pail of
They
milk? or
they
whatever?
left before the doors locked.
Oh, I see. And they were making fun of him for not being cool enough to go hang out with them or something. Was that the scene?
They were
was a scene.
bullying him for mopping up the
Was
floor.
Grandpa bullying? Right
They were
there?
like drinking sodas, being like, "You're a lame Janet. You suck." And Also, more Home Alone type stuff, both ways,
Yeah.
both from the robots and from the people.
Yes.
That the robot kills them in wild ways,
Fun, interesting ways.
and also they fight back with found weapons from a mall.
Yeah.
That's what the movie needed. That's what I wanted. I would have had quite a nice time. Yeah.
But it's got I think in the first scene, the rookie scientist is being shown the room for the first time, and he almost knocks a cup of coffee off into like a computer area, and the guy's like, "Watch it, coffee will destroy these computers like this," and they end up trapping it in a coffee shop in the final scene.
Yeah.
And they pour a big tank of coffee on top of
Yeah.
it, and it explodes.
Yeah. Something
That's
really,
my movie.
really stupid. Also, I'm going to add one last thing, which is I think that I'm fine with your idea that it's two robots and then a boss robot. I'm fine with that. One of the two, they think they've destroyed, but they nurse it back to it's actually it doesn't want to hurt them, and that's where a romance.
Oh, they fuck the robot.
Like the romance.
Does the robot have boobs?
The robot is into one of the boobs.
One of the boobs.
Yeah, and like there is, I think there's a moment where there is a sensual moment between
Sure.
the robot.
Yeah.
And
Let's do it. Why not?
Just because that sex scene would be very funny, like seeing like the robot hands coming and like just like yeah.
Except it still has the like diesel motor that all of these ones seem to have.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Guys, I really have to use a bathroom, so I'm gonna
All right.
step away.
What
while
are
you
our
guys
movies
finish,
for
while you
next
guys
week,
wrap
Joe?
this
So
up.
our movies for next week, or our next episode, we're doing kind of children's fantasy. So it's going to be The Never-Ending Story, otherwise known as the shit that Dan's about to have, and versus Legend.
It has been a never-ending story so far.
The other name that we're about to give to Dan's fucking monster shit that he is squirming in this couch. in preparation
I'm
for.
so uncomfortable, guys.
Yeah, you look at
So-
you go.
Never-Ending Story
Now I
versus
gotta
Legend.
See this through.
Check us out on Twitter, Instagram, Citizen Kane VS Podcast. Okay. I think that's it. Bye.
Now I will read from the dictionary very slowly.
Bing ding.